live here in Teaneck, New Jersey. New Jersey. So, so why are we here? We have come from all corners of the world. I guess, well, where do you guys come from? France? Romania? Teaneck? Teaneck? New Jersey? Peru? Teaneck? Englewood? Clifton?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. Okay, so we have come from all corners of, well, it's a different corners, but of New Jersey, Peru, France. Okay, so the idea is that we are almost on the surface like strangers, and we come in one place and at one specific time, and all our energies unite. Obviously, if we're all here together here today, that means at some point in our past life, we had a connection and we all met. And we are kind of giving to each other kind of a reflect of what we got from each other. So maybe you were all my teachers, and now I'm giving some pieces back as a thank you. And or something like that, or maybe you were my mother, you were my sister, you were my daughter, right? It could be all different types of things. And he was my father, and he was my brother, and he was my teacher. And now, like what? We're still right. כן אחי, נו, בטח, מה אתה אומר? So yes, so we are related. We are one body, right? The whole preparation before Har Sinai, before the giving of the Torah, which is on Shavuot, the 7 weeks, where we achieve a level of Ke'ish echad belev echad, like one man with one heart. Now, how do you do that? One man with one heart, that's our strongest power. When the Jews are united, we're undefeatable. We are like, we can have 39 scuds falling on us, nothing happens because we are united just like one family. So, how do we achieve that level of unity? Well, there are 7 steps, if you could say so. There are 7 weeks when we count the Omer, 7 times 7, 49 days. And the question is, like, what are those 7 things? Those 7 spooky things that Kabbalists keep talking about, the 7 Sefriras, or they call us with 7 emanations, 7 attributes of God. They have many different names. But the first step was really the 7 days of creation. Did you ever ask yourself why there are 7 days of creation?
Yeah.
I mean, I know we're fanatic of 7. I mean, Shabbat, 7, like fish, dag is Gematria 7, like. What?
4 and 3 is 7, right?
What's
Yeah.
the 7 lowers?
Certainly. The what?
7 lowers.
Right, 7 lower Sefirot. So, 7 is a strange number because 7 is, it's nice, it's Shabbat, it's a stack of 7. However, there's 7 cookies? Yeah.
Actually, now there are 6.
I see, because there were 7, that's what I'm saying. No, I can't do. But really, the completion of a group, what makes a group one, is the number 10. 10 is the perfect number, right? That's why we have a minyan with 10 people. That's a completion. The Torah, the God comes in Shul when we have 10 people. We have 10 fingers. 10 is the totality of all the parts. And for those who are familiar with those Kabbalistic, yeah, everything, it comes from those 10, from 0 to 9, basically. Right? So we have these famous Kabbalistic, pictures with the 10 spheres, 10 attributes. Hi, come in. Hey!
Oh, what's up?
Holy brother, good to see you. Look at that, small world.
Yes, it is.
So we just started, but whatever you missed is recorded, so you can catch up after. Review online after. So,
Want me to hold it?
No. I was just counting without counting. But now we were beyond 10. We exploded in the numbers.
We
Okay,
had 10 before.
we're at 10. That's
Now
what I'm saying.
12.
Now it's 12. 12 Shvatim. Okay.
Right.
So there are 10. There are really 10 powers. 10 is really the number that is complete. And really technically we should have 10 days of the week. So why we have 10 days of the week? Because on the 6th day, something happened. Adam, the first man, made a mistake. We're not going to the mistake because it's going to take probably about 3,000 years to explain it. And the mistake broke the cycle or the 10 days that were supposed to happen. That's why the whole world, all of humanity, all over the world, everybody have 7 days, has 7 days a week. You never ask yourself why 7? Why the Chinese have 7? Have 1 day a week, have 2 days. Like, why do they have to have 7 days a week? Or why the South African, or why the Japanese or the French? Like, why 7 days? You could take 8 days, 9 days. Who chose 7 days? Oh, coincidence. Just happened that the Bible says that God created the world in 7 days. Must be a big coincidence, right? It's just coincidence.
Not everyone has the Bible.
Right, but
That's the point.
from the beginning of time, right, people knew about those 7 days and it became part of the cycle of life, right? Our whole world lives on the calendar. The internet lives on those 7 days a week, right? So if you want to be part of this world, you're in a world of 7. But really, it should have reached 8, 9, 10. So we have a cycle of 7,000 years. Why now? Anybody knows in which year we are?
5, 7, 7, 8, 7, 7, 8.
Right. So we have 1,222 years before the end of the 7-day cycle. And after that cycle goes the life that we are supposed to have after Adam had finished his work in Gan Eden. Now, what was this work that Adam was supposed to do in Gan Eden, right? God told him, well, I make those 6 days of creation, and as the 7 days, I want you to use those 7 days to do something. And that something was to be in an intense, loving relationship with God. Now, it's very strange the way the Bible puts it, because it doesn't seem to speak about relationships. It doesn't speak about any therapist in the story, or like any discussion really. But the idea is that our whole 7 days, the 7 powers that God made into the world correspond to the lower part of the body. Right? You have those 7 powers, so 7 attributes, 7 character traits. They correspond to the lower part of the body. And then the 3 top correspond, which runs 8, 9, 10, correspond to the head. So the lower part of the body is all dependent really on the heart. If you say what are the 2 main elements of the human being, is the heart and the head. Which one is more important? Which one is more vital? And that's why we have even a whole discussion about when are you really dead? When your heart stop or when your brain stop? And there's a whole halachic discussion about, when your heart stop, but it's still not 100% clear, the different opinions, and so when can you take off the plug and not, right?
Yeah,
Lo aleinu.
like when God forbid, like somebody's like brain damage.
Right, so it's a whole issue of what according to halacha what you're allowed to do.
Are they still alive? Are they still capable?
Right? Maybe they're still conscious, maybe they understand everything that's happening, right?
They say sometimes when Chas v'shalom, if somebody's in the ICU and they're brain damaged, they still hear you.
Absolutely. We know from the after death experience and
Like
Heart fuels intellect.
so the right, so there might be some consciousness in the heart from the ruach level of the soul, right? So what are we saying is we're saying that the main work of us individuals before Moshiach comes, right? Before our main thing to fix are those 7 steps that were damaged by Adam Rishon's sin, meaning that he damaged his relationship to the world, to God, and we are all being parts of Adam, the first man, and we are all here to repair that relationship that we messed up with God. But how do we fix a relationship that we have with God? By training on human beings. Human beings are our partners in crime, so to speak, partners in life into rebuilding healthy relationship so that eventually we can have real relation with God. Because it's very easy to say, yeah, God, I love you. Oh yeah, wow, you're a lover, right?
Right.
No, I don't think so. You know,
Right.
if that's what love for you is, then you don't have a good relationship with God, really.
Well, let's say okay, I have a question. You can always love God, but I'm just saying, sometimes there's situations that happen in somebody's life where it's not like chas v'shalom, you're like hate him, but you question, and it's like you become like disappointed, you become like you have these feelings like it's not like saying like God forbid, like you're not gonna go like
right.
to, like, God.
No. So absolutely.
Like
So
the same thing then?
yeah, no. So that's what our whole situation is here. Those 7 weeks that we have before the giving of the Torah are 7 weeks which correspond to those 7 character traits, whose goal is how to fix our relationship between each other, so that we can have a world whose heart is fixed. Once we are able to fix all those relationships, we know how to direct our emotions, our hearts, our desires, and we're able then to connect to the head, the higher part, the more spiritual part of ourselves, and have a relationship with God, the divine, right? So meaning, that's why it says, if the Jews had not been ke'ish echad belev echad, like one man with one heart, we will not have been able to receive the Torah, because it's all about relationship. Your whole life is all about relationship. If you have bad relationship, you'll be miserable. If you have good relationship, you'll be the happiest person ever. Everything, every day of your life depends on relationship. If we don't feel love in our life, we won't be happy. The main energy that we have as human beings is love, and that's what sustains us. Every second, you're craving love. Now, love can have different forms. There's the love for ourselves, love for the other, love for creation, love for mosquito. Do you love mosquitoes? No. Well, God created mosquitoes. If God created now, I'm not saying you should or should not love them, but if really God created the mosquito and he created you, which one is more lovable? I don't know. He created both. Plus, he created the mosquito before you. So maybe, he's more important than you. We know in the Torah, everything that comes before you is more important. Right? And by the way, the Maharal says that God created the concept of woman before the man. So technically, the woman is more important than the man.
Shabbat came after everything else. Shabbat was the last.
Shabbat, yes. So we have to understand what I mean.
Man is a female before he becomes a man.
Sorry?
Forms.
In the womb,
The womb.
as a
The
child
woman,
forms,
and then
we're all
develops
female
into a man.
first, and then it's
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
transforms.
women's are ours first.
Question: when you talk about
That's why French men, we say women first.
when you talk about Adam, are you referring to Adam A or Adam B?
Adam A.
Hazal
Adam
talks
A.
about two creations of Adam.
Of creation.
We were talking about Adam B, right?
No, I'm creating about the first man
First man.
who was androgynous, with a male and female.
Right, that it was out there doing because it's the other concept, the other one is more spiritual, so there's two Adams.
Right, yeah. No, well, I'm speaking Adam, the one who did the sin.
So that's Ha'adam.
I mean, it depends which perspective. I mean, for me, there's one man. There's Adam Kadmon, which is
Right.
that's a spiritual concept about the highest level,
The other one.
highest level of man that we want to reach, the image of Adam in the highest level. I'm speaking about Adam Harishon, who was male and female, which all come from, and the reason why he really messed up his relation with God is because he didn't understand himself completely. And that's why God had to split it in half, meaning he had to take away the female out of him and to make him understand what a relationship really is like. All the relationship we have today, it's a complete misunderstanding of the male-female relation we have. That's why, you know, I work as a marriage coach and
Pairs.
what? Pairs and all the stuff. And you know, you see our world is sick in relationship. People don't know how to love anymore. And we have to learn to love again, so to speak. So loving human beings, loving animals, loving... unfortunately, it looks like today we love more animals. There's more animal shelters than human shelters, which is a problem. But we have to learn to love the right way, in a way that is giving and even sometimes taking. But
there are some people who care more about their animals than their...
Right, well, the
than, like,
Nazis
their children.
are very famous for that. The Nazis loved and respected dog more than humans. So it's a defect
Do you care more
in the
about
love.
your dog than you care about your friends or your
No,
family?
of course. But
No.
like
There are,
now,
there, there
so
are
like
some
now.
there are some people who do.
Oh, no.
Right.
I was not that psychotic.
No, no. We know. Even though you're blonde and...
We treat their animals like children.
Well,
no, I'm just kidding. No.
if I may, I think that it's easier to love an animal because they don't have that much power.
Right, exactly. Loving animal is a selfish love, which is good. It's fine, but it's a love that it's an easy love. It's a one-way love.
Because like a human being has the choice whether or not to reciprocate that love.
Right.
Like for a dog, you just have to.
The dog doesn't have his own opinion. You don't have to,
But
right?
real love is supposed to be an altruistic love, which is a real just giving love, not receiving.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People
What-
are
right.
not capable of doing that.
That is real love.
Right.
Probably that lack of
Which is
So-
generally why parents love children more than children love parents.
Right, because we give so
until
much.
they catch up later.
So let's focus. So our job here is to, as human beings, and during this time of the year, which is called Sefriras HaOmer, which is the counting of the Omer, is the counting really of our relationship, the counting of all the powers and strength and gifts that we have that we can share with others, and we have to understand that this is the foundation of Judaism. There's no Torah, there's no Judaism, there's no humanity without those seven. That's why even non-Jews, the Noahide laws, were given 7 laws, because the 7 laws correspond to the basic foundation of human existence, which is the harmony of those 7 powers, which keeps humanity standing and in peace and really in a healthy relationship. The Jews are supposed to bring those extra 3 to complete the body, to go from the heart to the brain, from earth to heaven, and from physicality to spirituality. We're supposed to bridge the thing. That's why we are supposed to teach the Torah to be light into the nation. I mean, we're supposed to bring out the spirituality so that the 7 and the 3 can meet, right? And that's the preparation before the giving of the Torah on Shavuot. We are focusing on our character traits. Before I can bring Torah down, before I can be a light into the nation, I have to understand I have a responsibility towards myself and towards others with my character traits, with my the way I behave. And unless I focus on that, I'm a lost case. If I focus that, I'm going to misunderstand the Torah. Unless I do that, I'm going to actually misuse the Torah and become a fanatic Jew or a leftist Jew or what. I mean, needs to be something in the middle, in harmony. Yeah.
So there's a concept I've heard a lot throughout the different spheres of Judaism,
Yes.
from Reform all the way to Haredi. Derek Eretz Kol Torah.
Yes.
But my question is that I've never seen, everyone says it in theory, I've never seen it practical where someone says, don't study Torah yet, get better character traits first.
Wait, so is that actually in the Gemara?
I would have expected to say like, you're not able to handle it,
So
become a
do you
nicer
know- you
person,
know-
become a smart, like whatever it
You know
is.
the Gemara with Rabbi Gamliel?
Which one?
Where this Rabbi Gamliel and Rabbi Yeshua who had a huge argument. It used to be that Rabbi Gamliel will not let anyone come into the yeshiva if his inside was not like his outside. And he had a guard in the front of his yeshiva who could read
You
people.
had a bouncer from
That's
Yeshiva?
right, yeah, bodyguard from
Best
yeshiva.
job.
He probably was like you, like really strong and serious, and he will look at you
Or
and
security shirt.
that's right, like Midos bodyguard or something,
It
FBI.
would say Shomer on it.
That's right. And he will talk to you and find out.
If you're a decent
and we will talk to you and find out if your inside and your outside were similar.
Is Rabbi Gamliel the same time as Rabbi Akiva?
I believe it was
I think
Hold on,
after.
in the Seder, they
What?
say it was different time.
Gamaliel, right? That's around that time.
It's around the time. It's close. I don't remember the dates. I was never so too good on. Sorry?
Sorry, the Haggadah.
Yeah.
Says that they're learning together, Rabbi Kiva and Rabbi Gamliel.
Right. So
But they
it
said
was
that
probably in
they
the same time.
But I thought I heard that they're actually they lived at different times, but somehow they coexist. In the
I don't-
I don't know.
There's a whole story about it. Yeah, I heard that actually. I don't remember. I can find out after. I don't remember.
So how
So Rabbi Yeshua say no, you have to let anyone in because those people who are not like that might still be affected on some level. And today that's what we hold. We went according to Rabbi Yeshua, yes?
This is a question I almost got kicked out of yeshiva for. A rabbi said I have to be careful who I ask this to, or I'm gonna be like out. Like they're all gonna just. I got stoned, literally.
Oh,
Not for this question, but I was stoned when I went to Meshach. I asked. So with that svara,
Right.
that we should let everybody in, even if they don't have good character traits. But then we're going to have a bunch of people that look really religious, that have terrible character
That was
traits,
Rabbi
and
Gamliel.
It's gonna miss.
That was Rabbi Gamliel's.
Huge Chilul Hashem.
Yes.
Everyone's gonna think these are the Jewish people, and that's like the root of where we see anti-Semitism.
Right.
Where the
Yeah, you ever tried driving in Muncie?
Right.
That was Rabbi Gamliel's problem with it is that you're gonna have Jews who looks like tzaddikim, but they're really animals inside. It's a Jewish animal,
Right.
So can I
right?
say something?
And that's the
It's a
danger.
cow wearing a shroud.
Right? Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
A few years ago, I was up in Spa for the summer, and the Kabbalah, like people up there, they were all saying how basically before Mashiach comes, there's going to be like a group. I don't really know the truth of this, but this is just what I heard, that there's going to be a group of Jews that's going to be like reincarnations of the Arab Rav
Yes.
of this generation, and they're going to look like
Absolutely.
That's just what you're saying.
Yes. So then
This is
it's
true.
yes, it's absolutely
And it
true.
says that they're even-
200%.
And they look
they're
like-
gonna have, oh gosh, it scares me when I think of this, but that
It is
having a
scary.
place of learning and everything, they're gonna be in charge.
Uh-huh.
It's so scary.
It is very
How
scary,
did Eli Alex
and
talk
you
about this?
hear about them in the radio. When you hear crazy things that you have a rabbi who and there's a woman who cannot go back up because she's it's icy or whatever, and he's letting her like that's an Arab rabbi.
Wait, say that again?
If you have a woman who is whatever falling or in the danger and he's and she's
he doesn't touch her.
and he's not judge her because he's too from to it. Again, they are right. There's a problem, and we have to differentiate between a Jew who looks and acts like a Jew and someone who is not there yet. So because of that, like you say, it's very hard to be a light into the nation because we have a lot of people who are not a light and they're more a darkness to our own people. So that's what we are here for during those 7 weeks. And we are trying to fix our relationship, to fix ourselves so that in every areas of our relationship, we become better people. We work on ourselves. So what are those 7 areas to work on ourselves? And again, I want to conclude that part. What time is it, by the way? Because I don't want to take it
We
too
got
long.
time. Everyone came late. We're good.
I know, but I don't want to put people have to leave. I don't want
It's
to.
9:22, and I feel like everybody's able to go till at least 10 o'clock.
Absolutely.
Everybody?
Whatever you
I
want.
might
No
have to
problem.
leave early, but that's just because it's something predestined. I found out
No,
about this.
no worry.
So
If someone
people
needs to
decide.
leave earlier, I won't be offended. Please do what.
Go at your own pace. I want everybody to enjoy this, please.
That's right. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
You got the black hat. You know, it's
Right. Well, he has good meters.
humorous.
We need somebody to. He's good for. He's chesed. It's perfect.
So I want you to listen to that because this thing changed my life, and you understand this is written by Rabbi Chaim Vital, who was the student of the Arizal, one of the greatest Kabbalists that ever existed, and what? So the Arizal,
Chaim Vital did.
Chaim Vital.
Of course.
Right. And we have to understand that this can literally change everything about the way you understand Judaism. So he says like that. I'll translate straight in English, and it's a short piece anyway. So he says like that. The character traits are the essential preparations for keeping or transgressing the 613 commandments. from the book Sha'arei Kedusha, the Gates of Holiness. So he says, it turns out that one must be more careful about improper character traits than about keeping mitzvot. Again, we have to be more careful about character traits than keeping mitzvot. What does that mean? I have to be more careful about me not getting angry than me transgressing Shabbat. Which means,
There has to be guidelines for this.
I think it's very clear. What's the problem with it? I have to be more careful the way I talk to someone that speaks Lashon Hara than keeping kosher.
Just because one is been on
It doesn't mean I should not keep kosher. It means you have to be more careful.
Is it?
Meaning, if I see it means like if someone gets angry in the house, right?
So it's better to be machmir on relationships than being machmir on kashrut.
That's right. Why? Because God can forgive, but a human being might not forgive you. And if a human being doesn't forgive you, you're not forgiven by God either. Right? So, which means that when, in a home, so someone turns on the light or should I say someone turns on the light, let's say on purpose. So they, it's terrible. But someone gets angry, say, okay, no. You should be like outraged that someone got angry in your house, and when someone transgress about Shabbat, okay, you should also be worried, but it should not be as intense. So this puts a whole different thing. We're not as careful. People spend hours with how to do the sukkah, and is it kosher meat, which hechsher, all that, but we're not checking. Did I say the right words to that person? Maybe I hurt her feelings. Maybe the way I talked to my wife was improper. We don't check as much in our human relationship than in our Judaism, and there's something wrong. It's upside down. Yes.
You said when somebody is upset at you, and that means that Hashem is not gonna accept the apology.
No, see, if someone
What was it?
doesn't
The
forgive
person
you
doesn't
because you
end.
hurt
Then
its
Hashem
feeling,
doesn't forgive
then
you.
Hashem would not forgive you until that person forgives you.
No, but isn't there a thing that it says that if you speak a specific 3 apologies, you have to speak to the person and be like, I asked for mechila 3 specific times, and if they don't say, oh, okay, I forgive you at the 3rd time, then it's like
Yes,
okay.
that's true. Tell me one person who ever did that.
I asked for forgiveness 3 times before, but
Okay.
then I gave up.
Okay,
I'm
that-
sorry.
she's super holy.
She's
Because you're super holy.
Count.
It was taking me a second.
Super holy.
It was like-
Actually, actually the Rambam.
No, that's what I meant. I know.
Actually, the Rambam says that
4 text messages
if the first time she didn't,
That doesn't count.
if the first time the person doesn't forgive you, you go second time with a few people, and the third time you go there with 10 people, so that you ask for forgiveness in front. No.
That's too stark.
No. Listen. I'm just giving as an example. I'm giving as an example how we don't push ourselves really to the extreme in working on character traits, but and first of all, when you ask for forgiveness, you have to. I'm not speaking about you. I'm sure you did it. I'm saying that you have to do it with real sincerity at the moment when the person. So it's challenging, but you're right. After those 3 times, if you do it the right way, you were sincere and you ask for apology, then you're forgiven in God's eyes, and that's only that person's problem not to forgive you.
Right.
But yes,
Can I say, Marshall?
of course.
There's a story. I'm sure that people have heard it. I don't know if it's a Jewish story, if it's a Buddhist story, but
Jewish girl is what?
A Jewish or what? Buddhist. Oh,
They're pretty much interchangeable.
Buddhist Jew.
Ah.
Letter from.
so there's a story about how much impact you have on the whole world. Let's say you do something bad or you hurt someone's feelings or whatever. So the mashal is you go up to a big mountain, take a pillow full of feathers, you open the pillow, watch all the feathers fly away, and try picking up all the pieces.
Right.
My counter to your argument, which there's no real solution, is we have no idea how much impact we have on other people. So, and I'm speaking about myself, because my midos are not what they should be. You could be in a bad mood and someone interpreted your expression as mean, or you could have just, or someone was really looking forward to seeing you, but you're like, not really, not right now. I'm not for it right now. Like, we really don't comprehend how we unintentionally, like,
Hurt people.
people's feelings. And, like, I don't know what Hashem's argument, I don't know, like, if it's possible to make teshuva for all of those things.
Well, you're only responsible to do as much as you know and
Yeah.
as much as you can. After that, Hashem will figure out, or you pray for all those things that you couldn't fix, and God rearrange your prayers in a way that fix it, or you send back as a Gilgul reincarnation to fix with those people. But
Well, the Gilgulim upon the Gilgulim are not going to take up all those feathers.
well, at the end, it's going to, because the way God says that one of the way to get fixed is through suffering. So if you don't do tshuva,
Yeah.
right, out of love. But if let's say you realize there's a difference if you for what you did intentionally and unintentionally, right? If you hurt someone unintentionally and you say lashon hara, and after you realize, oh, I shouldn't have said that, it's very different than if the person is actually hurting from what you did. So and you did it intentionally. So God has his directs the thing, but you're right, it's very
I have a
important.
question. Is it better to comfort the person after, like, if you, by mistake, you hurt them and you ask Mechila 3 times, is it better to do something to comfort them in some way? Like,
Absolutely.
do something. It is.
Absolutely.
You say, ask for Mechila and then walk away. You don't do that. If
No,
that's the-
okay.
not,
No, on the contrary. You see, this is where people make a mistake
right?
with teshuva.
They just kind of
Saying I'm sorry is not teshuva.
Right.
Saying I'm sorry is one of the 3 steps of teshuva. The last final step, according to actually Rabbi Noach Weinberg, there's 7 steps to teshuva.
That's Rambam, isn't it?
It might be, it's probably based, no, he based it on the Chovos Salios. No, maybe on the Rambam, I don't remember. But there are 7, my Rebbe speaks of 7 steps to teshuva also. And the last step of teshuva is, I'm going to fix the relationship and do everything in my power so that we can be at peace and friends again. So that means, like, I hurt you and you ask for forgiveness. Hi, come in.
Sorry,
No, you're just on time. So if I'm hurting, I gotta fix the hurt, right? I gotta fix the hurt and try to remove the hurt. We're supposed to be doctors for each other.
It's really part of the whole
Can
process.
I
Absolutely.
give you a quote from this? The Alter Rebbe says that one who studies the Shas, what it does is it influences like all of the Sefriras. Not only that, it affects your life, which is, directly connected to infinity, because the fact that you're alive right now means that you can't die, which is connected to time itself, and which is also connected to space, or space
Right.
and time might be interchangeable.
Right.
So that in itself is like you studying Shas or you learning Torah affects all of your Sephiros all at the same time.
Absolutely.
So if you look at Gemara, it has all the letters of all the
Angel.
angels and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So like
Mhm.
basically Torah study is one of these things that really helps one's midas. Like if you want to change your midos, you do that.
Absolutely. If you learn Torah the right way.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
You have
how
to-
many ways, but how
Yeah.
many people really know how to learn Torah?
Not too many. That's the problem of our generation with the educational system, where being
It's different, yeah.
to be like a baki, like great in Gemara or in Talmud, is not going to make you a better human being unless you learn to apply everything that it speaks about, right?
It helps with your
And the Ramchal goes about it, saying that you should first learn things that are applicable to your everyday life, because otherwise you're not using the most important part of the Torah, which is changing your character traits. Yes.
You said in Mesilas Yesharim, because chapter
Yes.
5 to 6 talks about
That's
Sefirut. At first you stop, and then Serisis.
Right.
And then you start beginning doing things. So first you need to stop doing what's stopping your growth.
Mhm.
You stop,
Right.
and then
Like zeros and zeros.
and then you move forward by doing things. That's the right structure to grow.
Right. Right.
According to the Ramchal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
I'm not sure if it's still relevant because it was from an earlier point, but a joint interesting parallel I wanted to hear your thoughts on if this makes sense. So regarding, we said the parallel between like being really strict in kashrus versus being really strict in one's v'haftarech kamocha. Like if I were to go back to someone's, like let's say I had an old friend who's less religious than me, and they still had a hechsher on the food, let's say it was a hechsher that wasn't as reliable, for me to say, in order for me to have a meal with my friend, I'm going to hold by that hechsher right now. And in general, I guess I'll hold by a higher hechsher. But in this case, because of Achdus, I'm going to eat Triangle K Hebrew National hot dogs. Very specific example.
Right.
Yeah, it was an example. So my question is like, fine. So there are. It would seem that there are times that one should put their characteristics and Achdus in play before the Chumrah, and then the point being that it would seem, at least according to last week's parsha, that we eat kosher because the animals that we eat and don't eat have certain characteristics.
Right.
And we don't want certain characteristics, and we do want certain characteristics, and the way we go about koshering the animal removes the most amount of animalistic energy from the meat, so that when it finally comes to a human being, it's been removed, it's been soaked, salted, purified, made a blessing. So it's like it was an animal that had animalistic character traits, and now it's not. So one who is more strict in the halachot and chumrot of kashrus should be more refined.
Right.
In theory.
Yes.
Because they're having less of an animalistic approach to what they ingest, which means they have that.
If they eat the proper way, yes.
Right. So it's
Because if you eat the animal in a way that is animalistic, then you're not getting you're not getting the good part of.
Ali Shore says that is the, I don't know what it's called, it is the most impure thing. The root of all evil and impurity, the Rosh Av Tuma, is eating food improperly. Because all the energy goes to your Yetzer Hara and he overtakes you.
That was the first sin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Eating.
Yes. But I want to make something clear. It's not that we should be more machmir, like with halachot, as opposed with midos than halachot. It means I have to be more careful. It doesn't mean that I should transgress. I shouldn't transgress halacha because I want to be with my friend. But I have to be even more careful that when I'm going to be with my friend, I'm not going to hurt him, even though I'm not eating kosher. Even though I'm eating kosher. Thank you for coming. It's good to see you.
During the example that I gave, it's not like I'm going to eat cheeseburger with my friend because I want to be his friend. It's more like there's levels of kasher. Someone said it's kosher, but it's not as accepted as this hechsher. But someone said it's kosher.
That's why you have to ask your Rebbe.
There's also KD and K.
Because you have to be kashrut is very. You have to be very careful because, like you say, it goes straight into your neshama.
Those particles literally become you.
Absolutely.
It's a part of you.
You are what you eat. So let's finish the quote. Evil midos, meaning evil character traits, are much worse than averros themselves. So he's saying like something very, when I read that I was like, whoa. Meaning when you get angry, it's much worse than if you transgress Shabbat.
What?
Yes, that's what he's saying. If you hurt someone's feelings, it's much worse than if you eat pig. If you make your wife cry, it's much worse than if you just throw a Sefer Torah on the floor and step on it.
Rabbi, I got something to say about this. I was in the military and I came back with, nobody saw it, extreme anger problems.
Okay.
Extreme. Like nobody could even imagine like the stuff, whatever. But the thing that really got rid of it was keeping mitzvot.
Whoa.
The fact that I was keeping mitzvot and learning Torah and etc., it fixed all of it.
Okay.
Without no psychologist, medication, nothing. No matter what else.
Wow.
Don't get mad. It gets rid of it. Honestly, it was keeping mitzvot and Torah.
Well, okay, I guess you use it the proper way.
Yeah.
The mitzvahs are here to enhance the character
You can't do it without
traits.
Hashem is what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
You can't do it without Hashem.
No, that's for sure. It says that every day the Yetzer Hara tries to kill you. Only with Hashem's help you can succeed. So you need the Torah and the mitzvahs to help you work on them. But unless you have this as a foundation, that the good character traits, and like he says, it is more important to be careful about evil mitzvahs than the fulfillment of the positive and negative mitzvahs. Meaning, in my mind, as I walk in the day and I do my business, I have to be more careful about my relation with people at work than about, I have to daven mincha and have to eat kosher. I have to be careful of both, but I have to be even more focused on my relation with people. And he says, because by being a master of good character traits, it becomes easier to fulfill all the mitzvot. By transforming you into a better person and be careful in your character traits, you naturally are going to be able to do the commandments. Because it's just an extension. Understand that the mitzvah. Why do we have so many commandments? Thank you for coming. What?
We'll be back.
Oh, you'll be back. Okay, but there might be no more brownies. Just saying.
Quick, pass the brownies.
This is like a foundation. Like when I understood that, it changed my whole life. That why do we have mitzvot? Why can't we just be good people?
Right.
Why can't we just people? Why do we have all those commandments on top of that?
Right.
Because every commandment just stretches out one of your character traits, meaning it enhances them to a level that is beyond just human nature. And if you're able to do that, then you're able to connect to a spiritual level, to your soul, and you become a spiritual being, not just a good guy, a good girl. You become a spiritual being that can live in a spiritual world and have a relationship with something beyond, which is God.
So it's like science and applied science. Apply the science, apply the Torah.
Right.
Apply Torah.
Absolutely. And as our sages of blessed memory said, they sent forth from here who is designed for the world to come. So the question is, who is destined for the world to come, right? So he answered, that's from the Gemara Sanhedrin 88, says, he who is meek, humble, and many other things similar to this. In all the verse above, the mitzvot of the Torah were not mentioned, but only the good character traits. Remember those words, and you will undoubtedly succeed in achieving Ruach HaKodesh, divine inspiration. If you want to be a holy guy, if you want to be high, the key is character traits. Your relationship. People who are very, very spiritual are people who are extremely refined in their character traits. Yes.
I ADD'd for a moment. Was that from the intro to the Celestial Charm?
No, it's not.
Where is this from?
This is from Gemara. No, this is from Rabbi Chaim Vital.
Oh, amazing.
Right.
'Cause it's-
But that last part is from Gemara Sanhedrin 88. Pechet.
Is that the one that he quotes in the beginning of the Celestial Charm, where he says, "If you have this character trait and that character and that trait, you get Ruach Kodesh"?
No, that's not that. That's yeah. But that's what the Ramchal says is that if you go through those 10 character trait refinement, you achieve Ruach HaKodesh, and that's so. The whole idea is that if we want to be close to God, if we want to be happy in life, if we want to be lovers, and meaning that our relationships are functioning, healthy. The focus of our whole, which is the focus of our whole Judaism, is to be mostly focused on our character traits. Obviously, the way to have good character traits is to learn from the Torah how to get those character traits fixed. By the way, those 7 character traits correspond to our 7 shepherds: Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe, Aaron, Yosef, and David. Those 7 ushpizin, those 7 shepherds, are here. Why are they so important? Why those 7? There's thousands of this. There's Shmuel and Navi. There's Chizkiah. Why those specific 7? Because those 7 were the ones who exemplified, were role model to that specific character trait. And therefore, we have to learn from them how I'm supposed to love. You want to know? Learn about Abraham. He teach you how to love someone, how to really love. How you're going to take someone from the street who was just bow down to Avodah Zarah and say Allahu Akbar, and you make him come to, not if he's black and he wants to kill you, but then you kill him first. But you make him come in.
It might be hard. He might be with Vladimir Putin over there, so it might be hard to kill.
Yeah. So you have a Buddhist Jew, which could be, or Hindu, who is from Avodah Zarah, and you make him come in your house, and you wash his feet, and say, "Come eat at my place." And at the end, you tell him, "Please thank the Creator. Isn't it beautiful what God gives us?" And you inspire him to come close to God. That's the love of Abraham. it doesn't matter what you look like, what you have done before. You're lovable, and I can bring you closer to the Creator. Yeah.
Hope I'm not talking too much, but I had this one.
You're not. I'm talking too much.
I met a llama once, not the animal. I met like a Buddhist lama.
Oh.
Like a very, very lofty spiritual person.
Lama with the word.
People worship this person, and we were having a conversation. And the person that I was with asked them, like, can you see energy? Like, yes, of course. Like, it's normal for when people do this and stuff, whatever. And they asked, like, how can we learn how to, like, see the spiritual energy of the world? And she said two things. Concentrate on your meditation and do good deeds.
Mm.
She said that's
Right,
really
right,
important.
right.
Because by giving
Absolutely.
charity, by being nice to
That's the
people,
key.
it actually changes your energy and you can become more sensitive to the
Absolutely, you have the 7 things that keeps. There's like 7 layers keeping your soul, preventing your soul from connecting. So the moment those 7 things are pure, then your soul can integrate into your body. You can become spiritual, right? You can feel the spiritual, feel your soul.
That I thought was particularly awesome was that this isn't a Jewish person who has Torah and mitzvahs. This
Right.
is like a regular person in the
Right,
world
right.
who's able to see
Absolutely.
the reality of the matrix that we're living in.
Right.
Just because they concentrate and do good deeds.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'm blown
That's
away.
yes, it's because misunderstanding. We think only Jews, they can have
Right,
spiritual
because we live in
experience.
the Shami
It's not
Yisera. We
right.
thought maybe we're like
Right.
we're the only ones.
Right, no, absolutely. It start with the 7, which is right
Yes,
as a
very
non-Jew.
much
You
Kodem-
that's right. Kodem la Torah, Kodem the 3,
Ah,
Kodem la Torah, which is
thing
the
is that,
3,
like, if you have a
and
little
then
bazaar,
you
like,
attach.
a card and, like,
that's awesome.
And we're
Nice
responsible
bazaar.
to help people achieve the 3 because the whole goal is that the Jew should elevate the whole world to the Torah, to a level of Torah.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Surprise! Surprise, Biana! That's your mission in life.
Why do you think the Torah was given into 70 languages? So that every nation could learn the Torah and in his own way come close to God.
Okay.
There's 70 facets of the Torah. I mean, there's 70 ways to understand the Torah, which also means there's a way for each nation to understand the Torah so that they can serve God in their own way.
I thought you said something else. Maybe I
Oh,
had
what-
heard
what-
something that.
Tell me.
Well, I for some reason in my mind I connected something that you did not explicitly say.
Maybe I implied it. I don't know. Tell me.
Or maybe.
Oh, she has the giggles.
There's no. Here's open floor.
Just do it.
The 3 Semitic.
Sefriras.
No, the 3 Semitic religions, and then
Monotheistic.
everyone else.
No. I spoke about all the nations of the world.
Okay.
Right. No, it was all nations of the world.
I thought you were implying the connection between the 3 Semitic.
Well, there's a.
and Chabad. How can we-
Oh no.
Well, there is.
There's a connection with
Yeah.
Israel is Sefriras, the center. Ishmael is
Yeah.
the left.
Ishmael was manifest from the opposite of Chesed,
Right.
and Esau was manifest the opposite of Gevurah. Because Abraham had one character flaw. It was too much
Wait,
Chesed.
so Ishmael was opposite
So we
Of
had
Chesed,
each
right.
Avos. Abraham is Chesed, Yitzchak is Gevurah, Yaakov is Tiferet. So reason why Abraham wasn't Yaakov, wasn't like where the tribes came from, is because he had one character flaw. He was too far in Chesed, where he wasn't able to see bad in people. He just wasn't able to do it. So then he got Ishmael, who is a very holy person, but ended up being against the entire world and being a very wild human. So then Yitzchak was complete Gevurah. His whole life was in this box. And then he got a son, Esau. He also had a flaw that he couldn't live outside his box. So he had Esau who broke the box. He couldn't live in a box. You couldn't catch him. You couldn't give him, Ritalin. You couldn't get him Ritalin. He had ADD. He was the jock. That's what he did. And then finally
What's his name? Is that me?
you get to Yaakov, who has this combination of, okay, I've got the right amount of chesed, the right amount of gevurah, and I'm living in a balanced place between them. Now from Yaakov, all the Jewish people can come.
Wait, don't some of the Sefriros, aren't some of the Sefriros like contingent upon 2 other Sefriros? So like if it's like a web, right? So if you don't have this Sephira and this Sephira, you're gonna be lacking in this Sephira. So like these 2 you need for this one to.
You mean like how Chachmabina make
It's
up
actually kind of like
das?
Yes, yeah.
a,
Everyone
a
has it,
husband,
make
isn't it a
Tiferet.
husband
So if you're
like
lacking in
child?
those
Isn't it
things, you can go to the roots of them and
Isn't
try
it
to
like
work them
one-
Yeah, I mean,
So
this
it's
right,
all-
the
it's all
right,
system.
yeah, father, mother, child, yeah.
So that was very good.
Right.
That was very good, Biana. You're right on target.
Isn't it das considered a child? So
Yeah.
it's a pattern, right?
Right. It's always 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Even in the seven,
Isn't
in the
don't,
Sefirot, right?
Even in the yeah, that's the spheros.
Right now, it's also pet, right? It's that
Interesting.
pattern.
Yeah, absolutely,
He would know,
absolutely,
I-
absolutely. So all three, it starts always three. It just goes from super spiritual to more and more
So then
physical.
just to finish the honest thought, being that the Avos were, Gvura, Chesed, Gvura, and Tiferes, we can see in the Bnei Yishmael is Islam, and they still have that characteristic of extreme Gvura, the opposite of Abraham. And we see the Roman Catholics is the extreme opposite of that as well, in that most of them, they just say, they don't say tachanun, they do confession, they can do whatever they do whatever they want, as long as they confess.
I think they.
So
right.
they have
They
complete
should have their
hefker.
very violent history.
They've got a very hefker.
Well,
very
yeah,
hefker
yeah,
relationship.
yeah,
So the
yeah,
point
yeah.
being is, when you finally get to there, but the point is, yes, the Semitic religions do come from the roots
Right.
of those three things. That was awesome.
And
Also,
we
what's
don't
actually,
have violence.
there are two different versions of the sphere.
Not
Yes.
as being an aggressor.
No, they do that with the Ushpizin.
What?
Look at the entire
I know, but in the sphere, sometimes it's
Yeah, the aggressor.
It says when we
Oh, yeah, sometimes because that is not the real sphere. It's Keter Chochma Bina,
So,
but Keter is so high that the only way to express it is once it comes into Das. So
everybody knew that Hashem existed.
Keter and Das is almost the same thing. It's from the center.
It does make
Center.
If you're in my
But
house, it's my
not
house.
for another time
You're
because
my house.
people are not gonna understand it.
Go to other countries and
Well,
Sometimes they have Keter Chochma
yeah,
and then some have.
They had Israel.
right.
And then we were attacked. I mean, Venice, and then we split.
It's the same thing basically, but Das is the.
When we first came in, we actually worked
That
to
means
attack
you
the
understand
nation without
something,
Hashem's approval.
internalize a
And we
concept.
did, we
Keter
lost,
is
and
also
it's
that
not
concept that is coming
If
from
you read
above.
the first, except for Yeshua.
That desire,
Well,
that
they
concept.
first attacked us.
What's the difference
Well,
between Keter and
when we settled Israel,
That's what I'm saying.
people always say.
Well, Keter is just the desire. It's a desire. Chochma is the information. It's information.
I thought it was
It's
Chochma.
not like we just, figure it
Chochma is already beyond the will, the desire. It's Chochma is the information. Like I have a will. I want to build a house, right? So Chochma is
Amalek is like,
it's called. You have to go into detail, but it's
before receiving.
it's not for this discussion.
Yes.
Um,
It takes before receiving.
Okay, so let's conclude the thing, and after you have more questions, we can continue. So the basic idea is that
It's just basics.
yeah, I could tie, I just to give you a glimpse of where it can go. What are the other seven, right? When someone dies, how much time are we sitting Shiva? 7 days. How many? After how many years we free slaves? 7 years. And how many? For Shemitah, how many years? The 7th year.
Isn't 7 now?
What?
Isn't 7 Saba? And 8 is beyond? No.
No. I mean, it's 7. Yeah, it's connected to Teva. Yes. 8 is beyond. You're correct.
The
Sorry.
Yovel year is the 7th of 7.
7th of 7 is Yovel, which is Shavuot. 50.
That's the Sefriras HaOmer, obviously.
Right. And Sefriras HaOmer, and every holiday. I mean,
7 days.
7 days.
Because we have the double, it makes
Right.
it, but it's supposed to be 7.
7
In
days.
Israel- in
7
Israel,
days a
it's
week.
7.
There's also 7 days, I think.
Well, 7 days a week.
Oh, that was the.
No, there's also 7.
He wasn't here in the very beginning.
Oh, you weren't here, right? That's how we all
We're
started.
asking why everyone holds by like a week being 7 days, like a universal thing.
Right.
No, I was here for that.
Well,
No, I'm not
It's
talking
very-
about a week.
for the Jews at least.
Aren't like the holidays, aren't they 7, aren't
Yeah,
they
that's-
7 days?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we say. We would just say.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Is that walking right after that?
Yeah.
No, you're good.
We
On
we
point.
are following now the 7th Sphira during this during the 49 days, but there are really other Sphira, correct? There are other.
No, there's 10 spheres. Yes, there's 10 spheres, right?
Okay.
But our main job is to work on the 7 in order to then be able to deal with the high ones. Now, there's different approaches. Chabad, for example, which correspond to Chochma Bina Das, want to work first with. Is it better first to work on my character traits and then learn Torah so that it just enters me and attaches itself to me? Or is it better to influence my body by first starting with my head and meditating on who I'm supposed to be, and that's going to influence my body? So there's two different approaches, and it depends how strong you are in your character traits or how strong you are in your brain capacity. It's two different ways.
And sorry, what are is Chachma Bina Das the whole complete 10? Is that
Yes.
complete 10?
Yes,
So
yes.
that's okay. So
That-
what comes? I'm sorry. So what comes after Malchus?
No, Malchus is the last one.
Is
Or
the
the-
7th? What's the 8th one, please?
The eighth one, Hod. We come from when you come from the top, it's Hod.
What is it? Hod, Netzach?
Hod, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malchut. Right.
So it's the left hip.
Right, the left hip or left leg.
That's the one
It's
I'm sorry.
this is like, if you want, this has the secrets of all things that exist in the world. If you understand the world, genetic, DNA, super consciousness, transcendental meditation, why you have 32 teeth or anything, this explains everything. This is the source of everything. That's why Kabbalists, once they learn the Torah and the Talmud, they spend the rest of their years studying that, because when you understand the system, you understand how everything works in the world, how every relationship is supposed to function in a healthy way. So it's infinite, and we're here touching the tip of the iceberg. And the goal, actually one of the goals we have with David, is to share that wisdom with the rest of the world, that anybody who wants to learn how to become spiritual, become happy, become like lovable and loving, and close to God, then we'll be able to come and learn from it. So one of the way we learn about it is through the Avos, through the seven shepherds, which is why we have the whole story of them in the Torah. Who needs a story of people? Okay, just tell us what to do. No, because the whole story in there is to teach us how to be in a relationship. So now that you know that, I encourage everyone to start working on the character traits and fixing their relationship, because that's the most religious thing you'll do in your life. And on top of that, use all your mitzvot. For example, let's say you have a mitzvah of Shabbat, or lighting candles, or mitzvah of shaking the lulav, or putting on tefillin. So when you do that mitzvah, you have to ask yourself, how is this supposed to enhance my relationship with another human being? If you don't do that, you're missing the whole point of mitzvot. Because that's really what it is. It's not like we're like magicians, do some voodoo stuff, and I shake the lulav and something's supposed to happen, and I say the words Baruch Atah Hashem and something's supposed to happen, and how is that going to make you a better person? Yes, there is something happening, but the whole point of the mitzvot is to teach you, like the way I like to put it, there's 613 ways to show someone else that you love him. 365 things that you should not do in order not to hurt the other person, and 248 positive commandments, which is 240 ways to show that you love someone and to create a healthy relationship. So we have to learn how to use the mitzvot properly. If we do that, then we'll be transformed into a holy human being that will be able to interact with the world in the perfect way, never hurting a fly, a mosquito, a tarantula, or a human being, unless necessary for self-defense. Well, for self-defense, for self-defense includes being freaked out, right? but yes, that's the ultimate goal. And if we do that, that's why at the end we have Shavuot, when we spend the entire night just with God. The whole night of Shavuot is we prepare ourselves completely, our heart properly, all our relationships, so that now we're ready for you, God. We're ready to be in love with you. We spend the whole night learning Torah, which is the gift of love, the letter of love, instruction on how to love Him and how to become better human being, and that that's how we become one with God. So may we all be able to work on ourselves and achieve that. But remember, you have to. The hardest part is very easy to say. I'm speaking to myself. To apply it, to really work on yourself, to find a good therapist, or, which today is normal, you don't need, everybody should have, what, you don't have a therapist? What's wrong with you? That's how it should be. Or that you have an anger management program, or that you have... What?
Make sure you find a good therapist.
Yeah, no, I'll give you an example. You have...
Speak to people personally about it.
Right. You can have a coach, you can have a best friend, but you have a book. My favorite book is The Messiah Hashem, The Path of the Just, that you use, and it teaches you how to work on yourself step by step to achieve
What's a good book?
The Path of the Just.
Mesilat Yesharim.
Right.
I need to write it down.
Write it down.
Do you have a card?
a card.
I was literally
Yeah,
thinking
he's got a
that.
Facebook channel.
Well,
I'm
yeah.
so like
channel.
in interview mode because I've been like going on like
Oh,
some interviews with you.
I don't have a
Too
card.
bad.
No, I used to have a card. I don't have a card.
Actually, so right now we're passing around a piece of paper. Please put all your information, your Facebook, email, phone number, so we can have your
The thing
info.
is, I don't have
Me.
Facebook.
Can I come to your house?
So then your phone number and email.
We have to make it happen. Yes, I just have to ask my wife.
Here.
That's amazing.
We'll make it. We'll
No,
make it happen.
I know. It really
Seriously, that's
affected
amazing.
my life very
So,
bad.
Sefriras, do you want to
I had
explain
trouble,
exactly
I had
So
a
phone number and
Who's
email.